Okay, can you hear me? Sumo Adok, I can hear you loud. Okay, can you hear me now? Sumo Adok, hi. Sonali Warade, hi. Hello, Sonali ji. Iti Dave, namaste. Smriti ji, namaste. Krishna Veni ji, happy Janmastami. All right, thank you. Same to you. Kavita Verma, yes. Smriti ji saying Jai Shri Ram. Yes, Jai Shri Ram. Alfa Romeo is saying very well. Thank you for the feedback. Iti Dave, Jai Shri Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna. Subriena Prasad. Persad saying hi. Hello, Subriena Madam. Sipika Chauhan, very clearly. Okay. Radhe, Radhe. Happy Janmashtami. Okay. Kajal Thakkar is saying hello. Hello. All right. Uh, Almost 20 to 30 people. I hope some others will also join. Then tomorrow is the most auspicious occasion of appearance day of Lord Krishna, and that is why I thought we could do a live session. I'll also do a live session tomorrow, but I'll also do it today. Today means now, where I shall discuss from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is specifically dedicated to Lord Krishna. And within that, I am in the third chapter. Okay? Third chapter. The name of what is the name of the chapter? The name of the third chapter is the birth of Lord Krishna, actually. So, the birth of Lord Krishna, and I will be reading out some translations, some very beautiful translations, which our acharyas have written down very mercifully for us. And before we discuss this, I would like to say that tomorrow at some time around at this time, hopefully, if Krishna willing, I will come live again and do some mantra chanting. Okay, during this time. So if you are interested, you can join me during this time. So it's 2:30 here. So in India, it will be how much? 6 p.m. almost. Okay. So tomorrow is Janmashtami, and tomorrow fasting is there till midnight. Okay. So I will be fasting tomorrow till midnight. No water, no food, nothing. So if any of you are also willing to fast with me, then write it down in the comments. Let me see. Okay. Okay. So this is the third chapter from the 10th canto. But before I go to this, this discusses about Lord Krishna's appearance. Okay. But before I go, I'd like to say something on why does Krishna appear? Why does Lord Vishnu take avatar again and again and again? Many times people they quote this shloka from the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, "Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chatushkitam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge." So Krishna gives many reasons. He says to protect the pious, to kill the miscreants, and to re-establish dharma. I descend again and again. So that is very true because that's what Krishna says himself. But that's not the main reason actually why he appears. The main reason that is like an answer which is true at different levels. Okay, but the number one reason, as the Srimad Bhagavatam says, is why Krishna appears is because to reciprocate with those who have given their lives to him actually. So Krishna wants to have a personal interaction with those people who have dedicated their lives for his pleasure. So to reciprocate with his devotees, he appears time and again. This is the main reason. And all this killing of demons and re-establishing dharma and all this, these are all secondary reasons, all right? So some other people are also here. Venkata Rajan, Govinda Rajan. Hari Om. Hari Om. Sonal Kumar, happy Janmastami. Happy Janmastami to you. Jyotish Chugani, nice to see you. Nice to see you also. Jyoti ji, Sonali Desai, thank you for your efforts. Thank you for joining. All right. Waiting for mantra chanting. Yes, we shall do it tomorrow. Okay. So, Pramila ji, happy Janmastami. Thank you. Cherry Blossoms, wish you the same. Okay, so let us go to the 10th canto, 3rd chapter. The first 5 verses. Okay, let's see. So this is the situation during Krishna's birth. Okay, in the palace, not palace, in the jail of Kamsa, where Devaki and Vasudeva they were situated actually. So Krishna is just about to take born, but there is some mention about astrology also here. Not much. Thereafter, at the auspicious time of the appearance of the Lord, the entire universe was surcharged with the qualities of goodness, beauty, and peace. The constellation Rohini appeared, as did stars like Ashwini. The sun, the moon, and the other stars and planets were very peaceful. All directions appeared extremely pleasing, and the beautiful stars twinkled in the cloudless sky, decorated with towns, villages, mines, and pasturing grounds. The earth seemed all auspicious. So, these are all auspicious signs which manifested before Krishna's appearance. The river flowed with clear water, and the lakes and vast reservoirs full of lilies and lotuses were extraordinarily beautiful. In the trees and green plants, full of flowers and leaves pleasing to the eyes, birds like cuckoos and swarms of bees began chanting with sweet voices for the sake of the demigods. A pure breeze began to blow, pleasing the sense of touch and bearing the aroma of flowers. And when the Brahmanas engaged in ritualistic ceremonies ignited their fires according to Vedic principles, the fires burned steadily, undisturbed by the breeze. Wow. Thus, when the birthless Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was about to appear, the saints and Brahmanas, who had always been disturbed by demons like Kamsa and his men, felt peace within the core of their hearts, and kettle drums simultaneously vibrated from the upper planetary systems. The Kinnaras and Gandharvas began to sing auspicious songs. The Siddhas and Charanas offered auspicious prayers. And the Vidyadharas, along with the Apsaras, began to dance in jubilation. So the denizens of the higher planetary systems, they are expressing their happiness, okay, by doing all these things. The demigods and great saintly persons showered flowers in a joyous mood, and clouds gathered in the sky and very mildly thundered, making sounds like those of the ocean waves. Then the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, who is situated in the core of everyone's heart, appeared in the heart of Devaki in the dense darkness of night, like the full moon rising on the eastern horizon, because Devaki was of the same category as Sri Krishna. Why does it say like this? Because she was literally holding Krishna inside. So what it's written here, she Krishna appeared in the core of her heart. Okay, first. Then Vasudev then saw the newborn child who had very wonderful lotus-like eyes and who bore in his 4 hands the 4 weapons Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. So initially when Krishna was born, he was born in the Vishnu form, okay, with 4 hands actually. On his chest was the mark of Sri Vatsa, and on his neck was the brilliant Kaustuba gem. Dressed in yellow, his body blackish like a dense cloud, his scattered hair fully grown, and his helmet and earrings sparkling uncommonly with the valuable gem Vaidurya. The child, decorated with a brilliant belt, armlets, bangles, and other ornaments, appeared very wonderful. When Vasudeva saw this extraordinary son, his eyes were struck with wonder. In transcendental jubilation, he mentally collected 10,000 cows and distributed them among the Brahmanas as a transcendental festival. So Vasudeva was not in a position to do donations, but he mentally calculated that he has offered 10,000 cows in donation. Okay. O Maharaj Parikshit, descendant of King Bharata, Vasudeva could not understand that this child was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Could understand, sorry, Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayan. Having concluded this without a doubt, he became fearless. Bowing down with folded hands and concentrating his attention, he began to offer prayers to the child who was illuminated, who illuminated his birthplace by his natural influence. This is in Mathura, of course. Vasudev said, so Krishna's father is speaking these words. My Lord, you are the Supreme Person beyond material existence and you are the Super Soul. Your form can be perceived by transcendental knowledge, by which you can be understood as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I now understand your position perfectly. So, this is a father telling like this about his son, maybe the only father. My Lord, you are the same person who is in the beginning, who in the beginning created this material world by his personal external energy. After the creation of this world of the three gunas, Sattva guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna, you appear to have entered it, although in fact you have not. So even Lord Brahma says this, Ishwara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. He says Anadir Adir Govinda. So he's the first being to have existed. So same thing Vasudeva is telling here. The Mahat Tattva, the total energy, is undivided just because of the material modes of nature. It appears to separate into earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Because of the living energy, these separated energies combine to make the cosmic manifestation visible. You are the prime factor in everything, the all pervading, undivided super soul. For you, therefore, there is no external or internal. You have entered the womb of Devaki. Rather, you existed there already. Interesting. One who considers his visible body, which is a product of three modes of nature, to be independent of the soul, is unaware of the basic existence and therefore he is a rascal. Those who are learned have rejected this conclusion. So Vasudev is, speaking a lot of scientific stuff here also. There are no contradictions in you. Who are the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Para Brahman. Because the three modes of nature, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, are under your control, everything takes place automatically. My Lord, your form is transcendental to the three modes of material nature. Yet, for the maintenance of the three worlds, you assume the white color of Vishnu in goodness, which is surrounded by the quality of, for creation, which is surrounded by quality of passion, you appear reddish. And at the end, when there is need for annihilation, surrounded by ignorance, you appear blackish. So this is referring to some future avatar of Vishnu, I guess. My Lord, proprietor of all creation, you have now appeared in my house, desiring to protect this world. I am sure that you will kill all the armies that are moving all over the world under the leadership of politicians who are dressed as Kshatriya rulers, but who are factually demons. They must be killed by you or for the protection of the innocent public. So this is referring to Kamsa and Shishupal and so many, Duryodhan, Shakuni, and all these personalities who were like kings, but they were actually demons. O my Lord, Lord of the demigods, after hearing the prophecy that you would take birth in our home and killed him, this uncivilized Kamsa killed so many of your elder brothers. As soon as he hears from his lieutenants that you have appeared, he will immediately come with his weapons to kill you. So, 6 children of Devaki and Vasudeva were killed by Kamsa. Sukdev Goswami continued. Thereafter, having seen that her child had all the symptoms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Devaki, who was very much afraid of Kamsa and unusually astonished, began to offer prayers to the Lord. So now the mother is offering prayers to her child. Devaki is offering prayers now. Shri Devaki Uvacha. Shri Devaki said, my dear Lord, there are different Vedas, some of which describe you as unperceivable through words and mind. Yet you are the origin of the entire cosmic manifestation. You are Brahman, the greatest of everything, full of effulgence like the sun. You have no material cause. You are free from change and deviation, and you have no material desires. Thus, the Vedas say that you are the substance. Therefore, my Lord, you are directly the origin of all Vedic statements. And by understanding you, one gradually understands everything. You are different from the light of Brahman and Paramatma, yet you are non different from them. Everything emanates from you. Indeed, you are the cause of all causes, Lord Vishnu, the light of all transcendental knowledge. Sarva Karana Karanam, which Lord Brahma also says in the Brahma Samhita, she's telling the same thing here. Okay. Uh, then Devaki says, after millions of years at the time of cosmic annihilation, when everything manifested and unmanifested is annihilated by the force of time, the five gross elements enter into the subtle conception, and the manifested categories enter into the unmanifested substance. At that time, you alone remain, and you are known as Ananta Sheshanag. So Ananta Shesh is actually Lord Balaram, but Krishna is also Vishnu is also known as Anant Shesh because they are actually non-different. This element of time, which extends for many millions of years, is but another form of Lord Vishnu. For your pastimes, you act as the controller of time, but you are the reservoir of all good fortune. Let me offer my full surrender unto your lordship. So those who have joined now, these are prayers offered by Krishna's mother, Devaki. Okay. No one in this material world has become free from the four principles: birth, disease, old age, and death, even by fleeing to various planets. Wow, this is amazing. But now that you have appeared, my lord, death is fleeing in fear of you, and the living entities have obtained shelter at your lotus feet by your mercy, are sleeping in full mental peace. My Lord, because you dispel all the fear of your devotees, I request you to save us and give us protection from the terrible fear of Kamsa. Your form as Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is appreciated by yogis in meditation, as the shloka goes, Dhyanavasthita tadgatena manasa pashyanti yama yogino. Please make this form invisible to those who see with material eyes. See what Devaki is praying here. It's very interesting. She's praying that make this form invisible to those who see with material eyes. Okay. So many times people ask this question: if God is everywhere, why can't I see him? So now you get the answer. Please make this form invisible to those who see with material eyes. Okay. Amazing. Oh Madhusudana, because of your appearance, I am becoming more and more anxious in fear of Kamsa. Because therefore, please arrange that that sinful Kamsa will not be able to understand that you have taken birth from my womb. Oh my Lord, you are the all-pervading Supreme Personality of Godhead, and your transcendental four-armed form holding conchal disc, club, and lotus is unnatural for this world. Please withdraw this form and become just like a natural human child, so that I may try to hide you somewhere. So what happened? Krishna had taken birth as the Vishnu form, four-handed form. So Devaki was feeling that this is not normal. So the moment Kamsa sees, he will come to know. Okay, and he may try to kill you again. So Devaki is requesting that dispel two of your hands and just keep two. That's what Devaki is requesting actually. At the time of devastation, the entire cosmos, containing all created moving and non-moving entities, enters your transcendental body and is held there without difficulty. But now this transcendental form has taken birth from my womb. People will not be able to believe this, and I shall become an object of ridicule. The Supreme Personality of Godhead replied, Shri Bhagavan Vacha. So this baby Krishna, who is still in the Vishnu form, is now starting to speak. So these are the first words Krishna speaks. Okay. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Shri Bhagavan Vacha, my dear mother, best of the chaste, in your previous birth, in the Swambhu millennium, Swambhu Manu, you were known as Prishni, and Vasudeva, who was the most pious Prajapati, was named as Sutapa. So Devaki and Vasudeva were Prishni and Sutapa in their past lives. When both of you were ordered by Lord Brahma to create progeny, you first underwent severe austerities by controlling your senses. My dear father and mother, you endured rain, wind, strong sun, scorching heat, and severe cold, suffered all sorts of inconveniences according to different seasons. By practicing pranayam to control the air within the body through yoga and eating only air and dry leaves fallen from the trees, you cleansed your mind of all dirty things. In this way, desiring a benediction from me, you worship me with peaceful mind. So, Prishni and Sutapa in their past lives had done a lot of austerities. Okay. And then Lord Vishnu had appeared, and Lord Vishnu asked, what do you want? What kind of a benediction can I give you? And then they said that we want a son who is like you. Okay, this is what Prishni and Sutapa said. And then Lord Vishnu said, but the problem is there is nobody like me. Okay, so I only have to take birth as your son. Okay, and that's what Lord Vishnu did. Thus, you spend 12,000 celestial years performing difficult activities of tapasya in consciousness of me. So, for 12, how many years? 12,000 celestial years. Celestial years is the years of the Devatas, okay? They had spent performing tapasya actually. O sinless Mother Devaki, after the expiry of 12,000 celestial years, in which you constantly contemplated me within the core of your heart with great faith, devotion, and austerity, I was very much satisfied with you. Since I am the bestower of benediction, I appeared in this same form as Krishna to ask you to take from me the benediction that you desired. You then expressed your desire to have a son exactly like me. This is what he's telling. Being husband and wife, but always sonless, you were attracted by sexual desires for the influence of Deva Maya. Transcendental love, you wanted to have me as your son. Therefore, you never desired to be liberated from this material world. After you received that benediction and I disappeared, you engaged yourself in sex to have a son like me, and I fulfilled your desire. So after that, Devaki and Vasudeva, who were Prishni and Sutapa, they united, and he was born. Since I found no one else as highly elevated as you in simplicity and other qualities of good character, I appeared in this world as Prishni Garva, or one who is celebrated having birth from Prishni. Okay, so in the previous life, from Prishni and Sutapa, Prishni Garva was originated. Okay, in the next millennium, I again appeared from the two of you, who appeared as my mother Aditi and father Kashyap. I was known as Upendra, and because of being a dwarf, I was also known as Vamana. So this is Vaman Dev. Okay, and then this was the third time actually. So Prishni Garva, and then Vamandev, and then Krishna, three times. Okay. O supremely chaste mother, I, the same personality who have now appeared of you as your son for the third time, take my words as the truth. Third time he appeared, my God. I have shown you this form of Vishnu just to remind you of my previous births. Otherwise, if I appeared like an ordinary human child, you would not believe that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, has indeed appeared. So, just to convince her, he had appeared in that form. Both of you, husband and wife, constantly think of me as your son, but always know that I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By thus thinking of me constantly with love and devotion, you will achieve the highest perfection, returning home back to Godhead. After thus instructing his father and mother, so the baby instructed the father and mother, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, remained silent. In their presence, by his internal energy, he transformed himself into a small human child. In other words, he transformed himself into his original form, Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam. So then the four hands, out of the four, two disappeared and two remained. Okay. Thereafter, exactly when Vasudeva, being inspired by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was about to take the newborn child to the delivery room, Yogamaya, the Lord's spiritual energy, took birth as the daughter of wife of Maharaj Nanda. So Subhadra was born, okay, as Krishna's sister. By the influence of Yogamaya, now you see, by the influence of Yogamaya, all the doorkeepers of the jail where Kamsa had imprisoned Vasudeva and Devaki, all the doorkeepers fell fast asleep, their senses unable to work, and the other inhabitants of the house also fell deeply asleep. When the sun rises, the darkness automatically disappears. Similarly, when Vasudev appeared, the closed doors, which were strongly pinned with iron and locked with iron chains, opened automatically. Since the clouds in the sky were mildly thundering and showering, Anantanag, an expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, followed Vasudeva, beginning from the door, with hoods expanded to protect Vasudeva and the transcendental child. So Anantnag, who is also Anant Shesh, had appeared behind Krishna and Vasudeva to protect Vasudeva, okay, because it was raining actually. Because of the constant rain sent by the demigod Indra, the river Yamuna was filled with deep water, foaming with fiercely whirling waves. But as the great Indian Ocean had formerly given way to Lord Ramachandra by allowing him to construct a bridge, the river Yamuna gave way to Vasudeva and allowed him to cross. So just like during Ram Leela, the Indian Ocean had given way to go to Lanka. So similarly, uh, Yamuna Devi also gave Vasudeva the way to go actually. Okay. Otherwise, how can a person cross a river? It's not possible, right? When Vasudeva reached the house of Nanda Maharaj, where was Nanda Maharaj? He was in Gokul. Okay. He saw that all the cowherd men were fast asleep. Thus, he placed his own son on the bed of Yashoda, picked up her daughter, an expansion of Yogamaya, and then returned to his residence, the prison house of Kamsa. So what Vasudeva did, he exchanged Krishna and Subhadra. So Subhadra was there beside Yashoda in Gokul, and then Vasudev had taken Subhadra, who is actually Yogamaya, goddess Durga, and he had put Krishna there. Okay, so he exchanged actually. Vasudev placed the female child on the bed of Devaki, bound his legs with the iron shackles, and thus remained there as before. So now Vasudev came back to Mathura, and everything was the same. Exhausted by the labor of childbirth, Yashoda was overwhelmed with sleep and unable to understand what kind of child had been born to her. So this is about Yashoda in Gokul. Okay. My dear King Parikshit, the doors inside and outside the house closed as before. Therefore, thereafter, the inhabitants of the house, especially the watchmen, heard the crying of the newborn child and thus awakened from their beds. So Subhadra started crying, okay, and all these doorkeepers, they heard it and their sleep broke. Thereafter, all the watchmen very quickly approached King Kamsa, the ruler of the Bhoja dynasty, and submitted the news of the birth of Devaki's child. Kamsa, who had awaited this news very anxiously, immediately took action. So, Kamsa was Krishna's uncle. Okay. Kamsa immediately got up from the bed, thinking, here is Kal, the supreme time factor, which has taken birth to kill me. Thus overwhelmed, Kamsa, his hair scattered on his head, at once approached the place where the child had been born. Devaki helplessly, piteously appealed to Kamsa, "My dear brother, all good fortune to you. Do not kill this girl. She will be your daughter in law. Indeed, it is unworthy of you to kill a woman." So Devaki is pleading one last time, please do not kill. "My dear brother, by the influence of destiny, you have already killed many babies, each of them as bright and beautiful as fire. But kindly spare this daughter, give her to me as your gift." Six children were murdered by Kamsa very brutally. So now Devaki is requesting, please don't do this with her. "Oh, my lord, my brother, I am very poor, being bereft of all my children, but still I am your younger sister." Devaki was his cousin sister, actually. "And therefore, it would be worthy of you to give me this last child as a gift." So, as a mother, she's begging her cousin brother that please don't kill. Piteously embracing her daughter and crying, Devaki begged Kamsa for the child, but he was so cruel that he chastised her and forcibly snatched the child away from her hands. Having uprooted all relationships with his sister because of intense selfishness, Kamsa, who was sitting on his knees, grasped the newborn child by the legs and tried to dash her against the surface of a stone. Okay, now here's something very interesting. The child Yogamaya Devi, the younger sister of Lord Vishnu, slipped upwards from Kamsa's hands and appeared in the sky as Devi, the goddess Durga, with 8 arms and completely equipped with weapons. So this child turned into goddess Durga. Now, goddess Durga will chastise him. The goddess Durga was decorated with flower garlands smeared with sandalwood pulp. This is a description of goddess Durga. Please listen. And dressed with excellent garments and ornaments made of valuable jewels, holding in her hands a bow, a trident, arrows, a shield, a sword, a conch shell, a disc, and a club, and being praised by celestial beings like Apsaras, Kinnaras, Uragas, Siddhas, Charanas, and Gandharvas, who worshipped her with all kinds of presentations. She spoke as follows. So now Goddess Durga is speaking. "Oh Kamsa, you fool! What will be the use of killing me?" Goddess Durga is saying now. "The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has been your enemy from the very beginning and who will certainly kill you, has already taken his birth somewhere else. Therefore, do not unnecessarily kill other children." After speaking to Kamsa in this way, the goddess Durga, Yogamaya, appeared in different places such as Varanasi and became celebrated by different names like Annapurna, Durga, Kali, Bhadra. So these are different names of goddess Durga in different places of India actually. After hearing the words of goddess Durga, Kamsa was struck with wonder. He was astonished. Thus, he approached his sister Devaki and brother-in-law Vasudeva, released them immediately from their shackles, and very humbly spoke to them as follows. So now Kamsa has released Devaki and Vasudeva, okay, and now he's speaking to both of them. "Alas, my sister, alas, my brother-in-law, I am indeed so sinful that exactly like a man-eater Rakshasa, who eats his own child, I have killed so many sons born of you." So finally, he gets a tinge of remorse and regret. He repents. "Being merciless and cruel, I have forsaken all my relatives and friends. Therefore, like a person who has killed a Brahmana, I don't know to which planet I shall go, either after death or while breathing." So now he's suddenly concerned about his death. "Alas, not only human beings, but sometimes even providence lies, and I am so sinful that I believed the omen of providence and killed so many of my sister's children." So why does he claim that providence lies? Actually, there was a Akashvani which said that the eighth child will kill you. Okay, and he was expecting that the eighth child will be a boy, but then this was a girl. So he's saying that, and they, goddess Durga said that whoever is supposed to kill you had already taken birth. So he was confused what was going on. So he thought that Providence had spoken a lie actually. And the previous child, the seventh child, was Balramji, who Rohini had carried from Devaki's womb. Okay, so Kamsa thought that was a miscarriage actually. So he is now thinking this is not the eighth child. Okay, or this was the eighth child after the miscarriage, but this was a girl. So it was a lie which the Devata spoke, but actually it was not a lie, it was a true. It was truth. O great souls, your children have suffered their own misfortune. Therefore, please do not lament for them. All living beings are under the control of the Supreme and they cannot always live together. So now what Kamsa is doing, he's such a, what do I say, he's such an idiot. He is now blaming the karma of those children. Imagine these, there are sometimes people who say, oh, if we don't kill animals, then they will kill us, or it is their karma to die actually. So he's saying your children have suffered their own misfortune. Therefore, please do not lament for them. All living entities are under the control of the Supreme. See, he's telling, he's giving spiritual knowledge here. You see, what a epic personality. In this world, we can see that pots, dolls, and other products of the earth appear and break and then disappear, mixing with the earth. Similarly, the bodies of all conditioned living entities are annihilated, but the living entities like the earth itself are unchanging and never annihilated. Na hanyate hanyamani sharir. Who is telling this? Kamsa is telling this. So he knew all of this actually, but he never followed. One who does not understand the constitutional position of the body and the soul becomes too attached to the bodily conception of life. Ha, look who's talking here. Consequently, because of attachment to the body and its byproducts, he feels affected by union with the union with and separation from his family, society, and nation. As long as this continues, one continues his material life. Okay. So Kamsa is giving a big lecture here. My dear sister Devaki, all good fortune unto you. Everyone suffers and enjoys the result of his own work under the control of providence. Wow. Therefore, although your sons have unfortunately been killed by me, please do not lament for them. In the bodily conception of life, one remains in darkness without self-realization, thinking I am being killed or I have killed my enemies. As long as a foolish person thus considers the self to be the killer of the killed, he continues to be responsible for material obligations and consequently he suffers the reactions of happiness and distress. What a level of madness. See what he's speaking. Then Kamsa starts begging, my dear sister and brother-in-law, please be merciful to such a poor-hearted person as me. Since both of you are saintly persons, please excuse my atrocities. Having said this, Kamsa fell at the feet of Vasudeva and Devaki, his eyes full of tears of regret. Fully believing in the words of goddess Durga, Kamsa exhibited his familial affection for Devaki and Vasudeva by immediately releasing them from iron shackles. So when goddess Durga came and chastised him, he realized that he had done a mistake, and then he freed Devaki and Vasudeva from the jail actually immediately. Okay. When Devaki saw her brother actually repentant while explaining ordained events, she was relieved of all anger. Similarly, Vasudeva was also free from anger. Smiling to Kamsa, he spoke as follows. So now Vasudeva is speaking to Kamsa. O great personality Kamsa, only by the influence of ignorance does one accept the material body and bodily ego. What you have said about this philosophy is correct. Persons in bodily concept of life lacking self-realization differentiate in terms of this is mine and this belongs to another. Interesting. So, thus, having been addressed in purity by Devaki and Vasudeva, who were very much appeased, Kamsa felt pleased, and with their permission, he entered his home. Okay, so now all of them have gone back to their home. After that night comes past, Kamsa summoned his ministers and informed of all that had been spoken by Yogamaya, who had revealed that he who was to slay Kamsa was already born somewhere else. Okay. After hearing their master's statement, the envious asuras, who were enemies of the demigods and were not expert in their dealings, advised Kamsa as follows. Were not expert, okay. So now his ministers and his cruel subordinates, who are the demons, they are starting to advise him actually. Okay, now what the hell are they advising him actually? And who are these great advisors? So we have, Putana, then we have Agasur, Bakasur, Pralambasur, Dhenukasur, Vyomasur, Vatsasur, and Keshi. Then we have Arishtasur. We have so many actually. It's like tons. Aghasur is also there, which Krishna or Balaram, they wiped out all of this. Then these demons, they start advising Kamsa, okay, if this is so, O king of the Bhoja dynasty, beginning today, we shall kill all the children born in all villages, towns, and pasturing grounds within the past 10 days or slightly more. So that's their plan now. In the last 10 days, whoever has been born, we just go and kill them, okay? The demigods, always fearing the sound of your bowstring, they are constantly in anxiety, afraid of fighting. Therefore, what can they do to your endeavors? Okay. So then, what happens? They these demigods, these demons actually, the asuras, they make plans to find Krishna actually. Okay, and they are giving all sorts of nasty suggestions actually. Okay. So this is how Lord Krishna appeared, and it's a very interesting pastime. You can read in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and you will find this in the 3rd chapter, as I said. Okay. All right, that will be all from my side. Let me see what messages they've given. Punnu Singh, happy Janmastami. Thank you. Same to you. Harish Nazwani. Wow. Velik test. Hare Krishna. Velik 05 test. I did not know that. What you did not know? Okay. Dandavats. Dandavats to all. Jai Shri Krishna. Avantika Raina. Finita Luktuke. Govin Govin. Sanal Pathiyil. Kaikai is Yashoda and Kaushalya is Devaki. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. Okay. Runal Ritam Das. Happy Janmashtami, sir. I am about to begin my mantra chanting. Just then I see you. I am so happy. Wish you all the best for your chanting. Mahi Singh, thanks for the live chat and enlightening us. Thank you for joining. My pleasure. Jitendra Mishra. Jai Radhe Krishna. Gurvinderjit Singh. Jai Shri Krishna. Pramila Iyer is saying, ready to listen from every devotee the inexhaustible glory of Shri Krishna. Great to have you here, Pramila ji. Dipti Mishra, Jai Shri Krishna, Vandana Dubey, Radhe Radhe. Preeti Falke ji is here. Nice to see you, madam. Jai Shri Krishna. Sanal Pathiel, Om Devaki Nandaya Vidmahe, Vasudevaya Dhimahi, Tanno Krishna Prachodaya. Nice. Sanket Bhoya, Hare Krishna, Rashmi Jain, Namaste. Sipika Chauhan, I am so thankful to God that I am able to listen to this divine discourse. Many, many thanks to you. We should thank the Acharyas who have given us all these divine books actually to study. But anyways, thank you for joining, Sipika ji. Somebody is asking request to give me answer. It's humble request. Oh, my birthday is on 11th August. My question is, no astrology today. Sorry, today it's a divine day. Soul Magic 111. Happy Janmashtami. Akanksha Sharma is saying Happy Janmashtami. Thank you. Pramila ji, thank you. Beautiful description. Twinkle Twinkle. Happy Janmashtami. Thank you. Same to you. Aarti Sharma. Jai Shri Krishna. Sumon Adak. Awesome sentences. Yes, indeed. All right. So we today discussed the appearance of Lord Krishna, and it's been 45 minutes almost from the 10th canto, and tomorrow at around 6 p.m. I will try my best to come online again and chant some mantras, but I do not promise that I will come at 6. I might come a bit before or a bit later, okay? But I will try my best to come at 6, okay? All right, so around 50, 60 people joined. I hope you are having a great festival, and some of you will be fasting tomorrow. So, uh, happy Pallaviji is saying is Janmastami tomorrow officially. Yes, it is tomorrow, and the fasting is there tomorrow, okay? It's there till midnight as usual. Sandesh MR is saying, please discuss Krishna's chart. Well, let's discuss his life. What will you do by knowing astrology today? All right, that we can do the rest 364 days. Okay, thank you so much to all of you who joined and stayed for 45 minutes. And today is a very auspicious day, today and tomorrow. So, whatever austerities and penances and meditation and reading of the scriptures you are doing, you can do it more tomorrow. All right, that's very auspicious, because whatever you do tomorrow is multiplied by thousand, million, billion, unlimited number of times. All right, so do not waste tomorrow. Do not waste one moment tomorrow. Okay, and do it. And in some places, like in US, they are celebrating it today. So whenever you are celebrating, either ways, today or tomorrow, be very vigilant of these special days and try to extract as much as blessings you can. All right, thank you very much, and thank you for all of your wishes. Rashmi Jain, Sandesh ji, Pramila ji, Sonali Desai, Mahi Singh, contact us. All right, contact us is saying, I am currently at 10th canto 7th adhyay, and I just revised through while driving back. Okay, great to know that. All right, thank you very much. And what do you suggest to eat tomorrow? Tomorrow night 12 we should eat Ekadashi Prasad. Okay, you should not eat grains tomorrow. Okay, thank you very much, and hope to see you tomorrow.